Hello, everyone. This is Paul Gaither, your host, and I've got a request from GoFast7907. Can you do an in-depth look at Madden 06's franchise mode? I've always been curious about the game that set back Madden by 10 years. Not much info exists out there about the 360 version. You are correct. Not a lot of information is out there, and that is in part because it got scrubbed from the internet the best that they could. And yeah, there's some Internet Archive stuff and all that, but I think even as an audience, we generally just like to pretend this thing never happened. So we go into franchise mode, we click new franchise. It doesn't matter what team that we select. Why don't we take the Atlanta Falcons? At least we got running quarterback Michael Vick. Not like it matters at all. We pick as many teams as we want, apparently. Can we play the other games? Yes, we can play the other games. Not like we would want to, because the gameplay is so bad. And yeah, this is preseason, and I press the X button. You're already backed out of franchise mode, but you're also still in it. So you can go to schedule, you can say team schedules, and that's a thing. I can go to the 2005 schedule, and it has the weeks and the preseason and all of that. Rosters, player management. You see the players' faces. So, okay, that's a thing, whatever. You can look at your players. You have to hold the right trigger, and then holding the right trigger, switch if you want to go to other teams and positions like that. You have to right-click this thing to drop down for biography, contract, skills, career stats, season stats, team contract. An interesting graph bar, like visually. Skills, it's like their ratings, like broken down in different areas, and it's not even complete, if I remember. Well, here it says speed, strength, awareness, agility, all that stuff. So we do not have the ratings that are specific to abilities. Like, yeah, this is still PS2 era ratings. So we don't have any play recognition or power moves or finesse moves or anything like that. And yeah, when you select them, release player, resign player, trade for them, put them on the trade block, make them a team captain. We cannot view, edit, adjust, or do anything of that nature. Injury report, their progression, they haven't progressed at all yet. The free agents, who you want to sign to your team. Do we want Vinny Testaverde to back up Michael Vick or whatever? Trade player, trade block, roster breakdown. I think you know what all that is. Your depth chart and your scheme. The scheme simply says, like, hey, this is for simulation purposes. Run versus pass. How often should one ball carrier or another get carries? Because they did like to do running back by committee. The draft priority and what kind of player profile that you would want them to have. Offense, defense. Nothing for special teams at all. Right thumbstick clicking just says general info. Stats Central, you're going to have season, career, team, and coach stats. League news is really just going to be transactions. I think injuries, put on injury reserve, this trade happened, this cut happened, whatever. Maybe you've got multiple players, and it has that information. The history book of NFL records, that's how you get, just by clicking on that, is how you get an achievement. That's right, we go to achievements. We go to Madden 06, 8 out of 11 achievements. I entered the history book. Bloop, bloop. Win the Super Bowl, play 30 years. Don't really care and not going to happen. And maybe I'll achievement hunt that at some point. So there's the history book. Franchise setup. Another new franchise while we're already in a franchise. Load it, save it, options. Sign draft picks and all that stuff. It doesn't even talk about the gameplay settings in terms of how long your games are going to be, or speed threshold, or any of the features that we so lovingly know. Let's go to the schedule. Let's simulate the preseason. And I might do the magic of video editing to get us through later simulations and difficulties there. All right, the preseason is over. Let's continue. Regular season. Let's kick advance, because otherwise you play the games or you watch the gameplay, and seriously, who wants to watch or play Madden NFL 06? So, through the power of video editing, let's get through all 16 weeks, shall we? And that takes us to the wild card playoffs. So why don't we hit the X button? Why don't we go to news, league news, the standings, the weekly awards, the yearly awards, the Pro Bowl voting, the transactions. What kind of transactions have we had? Let's look at all the NFL, and each week, week by week, there were no transactions. Oh, the Panthers released a guy or something. That thing happened once in a while. Okay, I guess. That's cool, sure. Standings. So standings do exist. Our team in simulation went 12-4. Weekly awards. So you got yourself awards. Hey, you guys won awards. That's nice. Not going to knock that. Yearly awards. McNabb, it's got the trophy on it. Looks like they gave the MVP to McNabb. The Offensive Player of the Year went to McNabb. The Defensive Player of the Year went to Derek Johnson. Charlie Fry was the Rookie of the Year. The Defensive Rookie there was Derek Johnson. The best QB was Peyton Manning, not the MVP apparently. Edgerrin James, Edge, as the running back. Deion Branch as the wide receiver, not Randy Moss or Owens or Marvin Harrison or any of those guys. Deion Branch, ladies and gentlemen, Deion Branch. Best offensive lineman, Todd, I can see your wiener. Defensive line, Darby, linebacker, Derek Johnson. So McNabb didn't get other awards, but the defensive or the linebacker did. Okay, Chris Crocker, best kicker, the coach of the year. That's a bunch of malarkey if you ask me. And Pro Bowl voting. So you got yourself your Pro Bowl players and all of that. Go to the schedule. And through the power of editing, or do we even need the power of editing? Let's just advance all the way to the Super Bowl. It's just a few games. So, the championship game was Kansas City hosting the Jets. They took care of business. And the Falcons hosted the Vikings. The Vikings got their revenge. They went to the Super Bowl, whereas many years prior, the Vikings lost the home playoff game that sent the Falcons to the Super Bowl. So the Falcons came up short this time. They also came up short against the Eagles previously to play against the Patriots in the Super Bowl. They've come up short again. And the Super Bowl are two 11-5 teams. They say Kansas City and the Minnesota Vikings. Madden 2006 is the 2005 season. This is the Steelers and Seahawks year. Let us sim this game. And the Vikings lose it in overtime. Kansas City gets the dub. We could do the Super Bowl presentation, but do we really want to? We can click play this game and at least see if they had Pro Bowl helmets and stuff. Is it like just the generic style or what? And then quit it shortly thereafter. Yep, no team helmets. So there's your standard introductions. Here's the kickoff. Remember, there are no referees on the field, anywhere to be found. So when EA says that we can't do the Pro Bowl, they did the Pro Bowl. It was about the individual helmets. That didn't stop them in Madden 06 from doing it, so don't let them lie to you. Simulate this game. Advance to offseason. Yes, sir. Okay, retirements. So you don't even get player pictures. Don't get player pictures, you just get team, and you're like Troy Vincent and Matthews and Shelton and R. Smith. Robert Smith. Rod Smith. Sorry, Robert Smith was the Vikings running back. Rod Smith, the wide receiver. And so forth. So you're like, you don't even get pictures or anything, even though they have all the pictures of these players. Morton and Bush and so on and so forth. Those are your retirements. That's your retirement screen. Could be a lot better. Hall of Fame, class of 2006, Vinny Testaverde and Jerome Bettis will make the Hall of Fame. You don't have to wait the 5 years for it. They just immediately tell you who in this game that retired is available that will make the Hall of Fame. So that's not too dissimilar because remember, the 2005 season means it was the Steelers won the Super Bowl with Jerome Bettis over the Seattle Seahawks, and he did retire and did go in the Hall of Fame. So they're not wrong about that. The re-signing period, and yeah, whatever, okay, we're going to re-sign, simulate it all, because we're not going to actually play this Falcons franchise. So the sign and release, the game is dealing with all of that. And it's the free agent wire time, so you can see who's available, and there is no ticking clock or bidding war or anything like that. And you right click, it says roster breakdown, and it says biography, Will Witherspoon, released by the Panthers, acquired by, released by Panthers, drafted in whatever, and all of that. Interesting that they have at least the acquired by whatever. Skills, career stats, all of that. Aiken Adele. It says released by Jaguars, like it tells you who they previously played for. Ricky Williams says released by Dolphins. Career stats tell you New Orleans and Miami and all of that stuff. And let's try to offer Ricky Williams a contract. Submit the offer. And let's advance a day. Try to get Ricky Williams on the team with work done as a true 1-2 punch. Wow, it's taking a long time to advance one day. I can just imagine that I'm going to have to use the power of video editing if one day is taking this long. And it says Arizona. So is this a better offer? I wasn't even paying attention. It says that Williams is considering this offer. So yeah, it did do a next best offer. So Atlanta advanced another day. Of course, it was looking through and estimating what all the teams would want to make offers for and so forth. And then it obviously is going to reevaluate the situation here as it processes everything for day 29. And we're just going to try our best to target Ricky Williams just because we can, and you can see what it looks like. It says Arizona, and now we've got players who've signed to a team. They're in red. They're not available anymore. And we're like, okay, yeah, here's, I guess, more money. I don't know. Is considering the Falcons' offer. I'm literally not paying enough attention that if our offer is actually increased. Ricky Williams has accepted your offer below of money for years. For how many years would you like to sign him to the roster? And has accepted your offer because the computer is also offering. And yeah, we're going to accept. So that's what the targets were. Targets that the computer put on our players. And so I guess it's simulating the rest of the day that the rest of our targets have agreed to sign. And there you go. The yellow means we hit our target. The red is not someone that we targeted or had available or whatever. And now it says advance, and I don't care. Advance the rest of the days. We're probably going to have to use the magic of video editing to get us to the end of that simulation to the next stage. And with that editing process, we had a few other players offer, and we went through it. It says the free agent period has ended. Do you want to advance to the draft? Let's do it to it, Big Daddy. We haven't even been given an opportunity to scout or do anything, right? Height, weight, vertical, whatever, right click. It says rookie notes. See, we don't even get to scout. It just has the notes available for us. They didn't even want to bother with the time of dealing with it. So it gives us our notes of a player. I'm assuming that this is our turn. Oh, is this not the draft itself? It just shows us the draft order, maybe. But still, it has the notes. So, there you go. Simulate the rest of the draft? No, I guess maybe we are drafting? It's not very clear. Why are these top 5 players all on the board? But we were like the team that lost the conference championship game. Okay, I don't know, but let's just say a defensive tackle is a good defensive tackle. I pressed A, then it's simulating the rest of the draft? By me clicking A that I wanted to get the guy? I don't care enough to know what in the world just happened. Oh, maybe the coaching settings... Yeah, the coaching settings I think are for the computer to draft on my behalf. That's what's happening. That's why all those players were there. That makes sense. So yeah, a whole bunch of who cares. But there's your scouting. The scouting is already done for you. You don't have to scout anyone. They just show you the information that they want to show you. So here's how we did with our computer. We took a 69 overall, and then a 70, and a 63, and a 64, and some 59s, and some whatevers. And then we're going to advance. Yeah, the computer, sign our guys, because it's set to automatically do that. And through the power of video editing, we're back here, reordering the depth chart. Auto reorder, yes. And nothing else to do, right? Off-season. Advance to preseason. Yes, it'll skip the autoing and reordering. And that is basically it. The scouting process, the draft process, whatever. Obviously, we can't trade away future picks. We didn't even try to make trades with teams for draft picks or whatever. And it takes us back here to the beginning. So with the power of video editing, I hope that satisfies the request. And I will see you next time.